What do people need to stop romanticizing? Not needing 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Poverty. Growing up poor and oppressed in a third world country and climbing your way out of this hell, it is not inspirational nor heartwarming. There is nothing beautiful about having to work until you break just so you can provide. No person deserves to live this kind of life. Help, don't romanticize the poor. Mental disorders. Jealousy. You know what's hot? Trust. Chronic illness or life-altering disease. People glamorize being sick in books and movies as a lesson in strength, positive outlook, and acceptance. Great values to learn, but it completely ignores the constant pain, isolation, and fear that sick people face daily. People pass around feel-good stories about inspiring people living their lives to the fullest, while terminally or forever ill, to make healthy and able-bodied people feel grateful for what they have. I, nor anyone else in this community that I know, don't want to be your positive inspiration porn. This life is hard, and we wouldn't choose it, so stop using it for stories/media that you get to be emotional over then walk away from. Being stressed and exhausted from work. Eating disorders. It's not beautiful and tragic, it's just a lot of gross shit, like hoarding bags of chewed up food under your bed. Taking laxatives until you piss water out of your ass and you're so dehydrated you have to go to the hospital. Having dentures/implants at 30 because your teeth rotted out. Walking around in public not realizing you have vomit in your hair, which by the way, is falling out by the fistful. I remember reading one horrifying story from a nurse who had a patient who was literally vomiting feces because her stool was so impacted due to constipation from her anorexia. Imagine vomiting your own shit. And that's not including risks like heart failure, life-threatening arrhythmias, brain atrophy, gastric rupture. There's nothing pretty about eating disorders. Stalking. In movies, if person A likes person B, it becomes okay to stalk them like crazy, showing up uninvited to profess their love. In reality, that's totally creepy and illegal. The issue is that people without experience doing these things in real life see the movies and emulate what they see. Serial killers. Being lonely. When I was young I thought that the lone wolf grizzled tough guy was everything it meant to be truly masculine and cool. So much so that I emulated that idea into adulthood, thinking people would see me as cool and manly. Thing is, I have no idea if anyone sees me that way because I have noon to hang out with. I isolated myself to this point that the most interaction I have with people face to face is well, at a drive-thru getting coffee or a meal. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter how many crunches or push-ups you can do, how good looking you are, or if you're charming as hell. Not unless you actually know people and make friends, and you can't do that if you're completely isolated. Fuck being lonely. I really wish I could go out and just make friends like when I was young. War. Gambling, because gambling isn't about James Bond playing baccarat in Monte Carlo. It's about sad, addicted people desperately playing slot machines and losing money they don't have. Mental illnesses. Suicide. Depression. There's nothing romantic about not showering for 3 days and forgetting what it's like to be able to feel things. Loyalty to the company. It's not a good thing. My husband worked for one particular company for nearly 20 years, and towards the end, they were really treating him like shit. He was actually scared to try and find another job because he was afraid his coworkers would hate him afterwards for leaving. It didn't help that for a period of about 2 years prior to his quitting, he'd done a shit ton of interviews for similar positions, only to find out they were going another way, or had just entered a hiring freeze or some other bullshit response. My own thoughts on that were that he was too experienced and wanted too much money because of that experience. With one rejection after another, it broke him down, and he felt like he would never be able to find another job. Side chicks. Stalkers. When a person says they are not interested in you, walk away. They are not playing hard to get. They are not pretending. They are not sending mixed messages. Don't follow them around. Don't call / message / email them. Don't accidentally run into them at different places. Don't make them socialize with you. No matter how hard Hollywood tries to sell it, there is nothing romantic about a guy who can't take rejection or understand and accept the word no. Overworking. The people at my job seem to make it a contest of who sacrifices more for their job, who works the most overtime, who does things off the clock for work more, etc. It's bullshit. I have a life and a family I want to prioritize. Edit. This one exploded, and seems I got a lot of rewards. Thank you for them, but please use your money for something better, like donating to your local orphanage. Stop gilding me. I appreciate. Thank you. The Joker and Harley's relationship. It's abusive, plain and simple. If you want a weird quirky couple to base your relationship on, go with Gomez and Morticia. That is possibly the most healthy relationship ever portrayed in media. They clearly have a different sense of what is normal, but it is also clear that they adore each other, support each other, and communicate clearly with each other. You don't want Joker and Holly, you want Gomez and Morticia. Rise and grind everyday lifestyle, needlessly. OFC, some people actually have to live that life to legitimately survive, but the consistent push in today's generations and romanticizing it to be this life where you're happy and rich is just so dangerous. High school. Sports injuries. Like, 99% of the time it will get better, but 99% of the time you won't be able to come back to where you once was as an athlete. No matter how heroically you will try to recover or fight this injury, most of the time it will never be the same again. I injured my knee a long time ago, and it has never been the same ever again, and everybody told me to try harder. That's just not how it works. The Joker and Harley Quinn. Seriously, even the comics acknowledged how fucked up they are together. They are not a cute dream relationship. Edit. At the time of posting this, I thought someone already used this as an example. Thank you all for your comments, rewards, and everything. Thank you all. Killing people and drugs. Abuse in general. That shit ain't fun. I don't know why people think it's romantic. Struggle, love, or whatever you wanna call toxic relationships that slowly suck the life out of you and ruin your mental health. Relationships are not the misery Olympics, where you get a gold medal in the end if you put up with the most bullshit. Your partner should make you happy at least 95% of the time. If it's the opposite, then you need to get the hell out of there instead of endlessly trying to make it work. There's nothing romantic or glamorous about wasting the only life you have with a loser who lies, cheats, uses, and abuses you. The Mafia. The whole concept of Bad Boys Why is manipulative and abusive, portrayed as hot. If anyone abuses you in any way, it's not hot, it's a serious problem. For some reason, many movie/book plots overly romanticize the concept, and its same thing goes for Stockholm Syndrome, like, WTF. The tortured artist. I hate the idea of only those that suffer can make great art. Yes, there are people who have a rough life and make amazing things, but that is a small percentage of people who actually get noticed. You can be smart, passionate, sincere, dedicated, or creative and make amazing art. If we promote the idea that true art only comes from people who have suffered, then that promotes the idea of self-inflicting suffering, while detracting from those who have made really amazing art, but haven't truly suffered for it. Public marriage proposals, where the other party is basically shamed into accepting. Weed and 420/710 culture. I absolutely love cannabis and think is cool and all, but chill with presenting cannabis as a lifestyle. It's a fucking plant. Working while sick. Just stop. It's not tough of you. You're not taking one for the team. You're probably about to take the whole team out. I get it. Some workplaces have punitive policies for taking sick days. Scary side note, like every single hospital I've ever worked, some of us can't afford not to work that shift. But those are policy questions we should be pushing back on as soon as this administration is in the history books and we can finally get back to boring policy making again. Sad girls. If I read one more, the sadness in her eyes made me fall in love. BSM start throwing hands. Like imagine saying her father died and now I wanna make out with her. Just stfu. Mental illness like major depressive disorder and severe anxiety. It's not fun or cute. It has severely damaged my quality of life. Hot teacher seduces teenage boy. News stories. That's an adult raping an underage person with an additional power imbalance. The struggle. X. Some rich kid / people moving into certain neighborhoods as struggling artists, but you know they got the dollar sign to buy the neighborhood, and the rest is history. Thug culture. Celebrities. Fake people living fake, manufactured lives, yet the media insists that we care what they think, what they wear, who they are voting for, who they are fucking. All because they were born with some genetic gift, or born into the right family, or some other twist of fate thrust them into the limelight. It used to just be Hollywood types. Now we have this whole generation of Insta models, reality stars, and other influencers whose only contribution to society is their shameless self-promoting bullshit. And people eat it up. Meanwhile we have skyrocketing rates of teen depression and suicide because kids are bombarded with these impossible standards of beauty and popularity in their formative years.